Oh, yes. Another thing here is there's a lot of different things like medications as well as conditions that will affect your morning wood that you might be aware of or you might want to look into, right? If your gut's okay, you think your blood flow's okay, one of which is varicoceles. Varicoceles is a condition that happens in your scrotum with your testicles where they become inflamed. It's almost like what do you call them? Those veins that pop out in your legs. It's what is it? Varicose veins, right? Varicoceles, varicose veins. They're related. The difference, though, is it's happening in your testicles. And the problem with that is, that's where your testosterone is produced, first of all, in your testicles. So it's testosterone tends to go down when you have varicoceles. And as well as your sex drive and morning wood. I mean, they're all linked in together, right? But I'll give you a good example of this because I had a client who had severe varicoceles, really bad on both sides, stage 2, stage 3, I think, on each side. And actually, he did eventually get surgery on it, and it was even worse than they thought when they cut him open. But even with that varicoceles, okay, he was able to turn this all around and get amazing erections in the bedroom. I mean, consistent, long-lasting, amazing erections. But his morning wood was still a problem. So that's what I'm saying. It's not necessarily you got to have the morning wood, but if he didn't have the varicoceles, the morning wood would have been there. And that's my point, is you got to kind of look at this. If the pattern doesn't seem right, you might get yourself checked out. If you feel in your scrotum, if you feel it almost feels like worms or, like hard cordy sensation in your scrotum, you may have it. You go get it checked out by a doctor. Like if your morning wood is no good, but you're really good in the bedroom, that's something you might look at. Also, the blood pressure medication. Blood pressure medication is really tough on your morning wood and your erections in general. And it depends on the blood pressure medication. Some are worse than others. But the reason they have that effect is that erections are based on blood pressure. When you have an erection, the blood flow goes into your penis faster than it escapes. At least that's how it should work. And as that blood flow keeps coming in, the blood pressure keeps building up inside the penis. And then it gets to such a point, it's around 400 millimeters of mercury, it starts to clamp down and keep the blood in the penis. Okay, so if you don't have adequate blood pressure in there, then it's difficult to maintain the erection. So blood pressure is really an essential part of erections. And that's why blood ED medications can have a real effect. And you'll typically notice that with your morning wood. Okay, another one is finasteride. A lot of guys come to me with post-finasteride syndrome. And not all guys have a problem with finasteride, but some guys have a lot of problems with it. And it lingers for months trying to resolve those issues. And, I'm not sure in fact, a lot of the time in the medical community, if you look at it, they won't even acknowledge this as an issue. But if you look at the support groups and you look at these different groups based around this, you'll notice a lot of guys are having problems with finasteride, and I get a lot of it coming into me, so I see it a lot. And that's more of at least probably. I mean, like I said, they don't even tend to acknowledge it, so they haven't really studied this. But one of the things finasteride does is it blocks the conversion of testosterone into DHT, which is a more powerful form of testosterone. And once again, you're messing around with the testosterone system, then you're going to see effects. And one of those effects is usually a lack of morning wood, or at least decreased morning wood. Okay, so just to look at that, if you're taking any kind of hair restoration drugs or anything like that, you might look at the mechanism. Is it a DHT blocker? Okay, because that can have a real effect. And once again, a big mistake I see guys make is they just pop these drugs and they don't think about, it's not an ED drug or something. So they're not thinking about how it really affects their erections, right? But a lot of these medications do. And like I said, finasteride's a big one. Okay, and I've worked with guys on that and certainly can get the erections back. It just takes a little bit of work. Okay, but once again, I just want to bring it to your attention. There's other things that can cause this, even ED drugs, in particular Trimix. I've had guys that have injected themselves with Trimix and it's affected their fascial tissue and created scar tissue in their penis. Because every time you inject, there's potential to create scar tissue. And sometimes that scar tissue will be so tight, it will actually cause a curve in the penis, what they call Peyronie's disease, that wasn't there before the Trimix. And when that happens, that can compromise blood flow. And when that happens, then you're going to see that with decreased morning wood. Okay, so something to keep in mind with that too is, there's always consequences when you're trying to short circuit something. You're trying to force something to happen, which is what you're doing with ED drugs, particularly with Trimix. You're trying to force an erection. There's always going to be some kind of side effects. And some of these you don't really hear about, but I hear about because that's what I do. So guys come to me with this stuff all the time. And then Xenoestrogens, another big one. So when it comes to especially like plastics, can even be in pesticides, but some of these chemicals they mimic estrogen and they're very powerful and they get into your system and it throws the testosterone estrogen balance off. And once again, testosterone is very important for morning wood. So the xenoestrogens, trying to limit those can make a big difference, right? And that's another big problem I see with guys is that they don't think about those things in our environment that affect them. So one of the simplest things you can do is don't microwave anything in plastic. I see this all the time. Well, I ask, are you microwaving anything in plastic? Oh yeah, all the time. They don't even think about it. But that really leaches those xenoestrogens out of the plastic into the food. That's an easy fix, right? Just put it in something glass before you heat it up. Okay. Because once again, we don't think about it, but it's an ecosystem, right? If you're not, these little things that add up, they add up. So if you start flooding your body with xenoestrogens, where the only thing you needed to do is just put it in something glass versus plastic, easy fix. Simple lifestyle changes, okay, to address the erection ecosystem with the impact point matrix. That's what we do. That's a simple lifestyle change. All right. Now, I just wanted to point those out because there are other things that can be affecting it that are more disease and trauma based or medication based, which is what we just talked about. Now I want to talk about how morning wood occurs and some of the things that can inhibit it as it's happening.
Hey man, I hope you got a ton out of this segment of the MWAI Morning Wood Alpha Inhibitor video series, where we are diving deep into overcoming this insidious alpha inhibitor that is blocking our birthright of having natural, long-lasting, stage 4 rock-hard erections. If you'd like to get free access to the entire MWAI Morning Wood Alpha Inhibitor video series, make sure you click the link in the description of this video to register for free access to all of these life-changing videos in this series, along with some other surprise bonuses. Also, if you like this video, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe button, and turn on your notifications bell so that you get all of the future value-packed videos just like this that I will be releasing for you to help you be the best version of yourself and have natural, stage 4, rock-solid performance. I will see you tomorrow in the next MWAI Morning Wood Alpha Inhibitor video.